I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, no. Something's got a hold on me here. Oh, it must be love. Oh, something's got a hold on me right now, child. Oh, it must be love. Let me tell you now, I've never felt like this before. Something's got a hold on me that won't let go. I said,
I love that edit. Alabama preparing to face Oklahoma in the first round of the college football playoffs this Friday on ABC. These two teams met in November with the Sooners coming out on top by 2. Ahead of the rematch, Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer reaffirmed his commitment to the Crimson Tide, saying he has no interest in other jobs. Here's what he had to say on Monday when he fielded questions about his future.
Man, come on, Nick. All right, I put a statement out yesterday because first of all, our guys handle distractions phenomenally. It's been that way all season long. They continue to do that. And so, but I also, knew that yesterday and today was pretty important. I wasn't going to see until today to address it. So that's why I put that out there. A lot of the same things I said before, a couple of weeks ago when asked really the same question. Just, feel completely supported. My family loves living here. Just all the things that we continue to build on. Love the progress. Haven't talked with anyone. No plans of talking with anyone. So I think that's a lot of what I said a couple weeks ago and continues to be the same thing.
Paul Finebaum joining us now. And Paul, obviously these comments are made because of what happened at Michigan last week with the firing of Sharon Moore. But what do you make of how Kalen DeBoer handled this at his media availability?
He handled it very poorly because the question was very simple. Do you plan on being at Alabama next year? That is the most easy question in the world to answer. The answer is yes, I do. You don't even have to go, yes, I do. You can simply say yes. Instead, Kalen DeBoer offered a lot of nothing. It was just really a pathetic word salad. It seemed to me like obfuscation. I don't think he's leaving, and everyone that I've spoken to, Courtney and Stephen A. in Tuscaloosa, believes very strongly he will be there, win or lose Friday night, more than likely getting an extension because that's just the way it works nowadays in college football. But why all the comments? It really was not necessary, and it makes me think a little bit that maybe he really isn't that comfortable there. Happy is one thing, comfortable is another, because a loss on Friday night will be the 4th loss of the season. You marry that to last year losing 4 games, and that heads for a very long winter in Alabama. Nobody expected Kalen DeBoer to be Nick Saban, but he is one of the best coaches in the country. When he came over from Washington, he has been good, not great. He has been okay in many aspects, but he has not been elite. He got into the playoff at the very bottom, and he needs to win this game, Stephen A., on Friday night.
Well, let me say this. This is perhaps the most unfair thing that I will say. He is expected to be Nick Saban. Not literally, because there's only one. Nick Saban is one of one. But certainly record-wise, he's got 7 losses in 2 years. Nick Saban didn't have that many losses in his last 4 years. In his last 4 years, Nick Saban didn't have 7 losses. Okay? You lost 4 games last year, including the bowl game to Michigan and Sharon Moore. Okay? Not Jim Harbaugh. Sharon Moore. Okay? Let's understand that. And then this year, you come back with 3 losses. We understand that you were a bit debilitated, a little bit injured and what have you, and because of that, you were beat up and you lost in the SEC championship game to a Georgia team that you had beaten in Athens on the road a few weeks earlier. We get that part. But 7 losses is 7 losses. That is not what Alabama's football program and the people who love it have been accustomed to. And so when we look at Kalen DeBoer, he comes over from Washington, Paul Finebaum, you know this better than me. And the expectations were, okay, Nick Saban is Nick Saban. But in the same breath, Dan, we don't expect you to have 7 losses. We don't expect you to lose the way that you lost last year. We don't expect to see constantly other programs out recruiting you. It's not to say that he's at the bottom or anything like that, but we just expect more. And so as a result, the reason why the Michigan job came up is because you had people from Alabama Nation that kind of wanted to nudge him towards Michigan. Let's get him the hell up out of here and get somebody else, because we could get plenty of coaches out there that could lose 7 games over the last 2 years. I think people were missing the boat. We weren't saying that Kalen DeBoer wanted to leave. We were saying Alabama fans wanted him to leave. Okay? So you might not deserve to be fired because you are a good coach, and we understand that. But damn, you as the successor to Nick Saban might not be the way to go. It might be better for you to succeed Sharon Moore, not Nick Saban, because that's not something we expect you to measure up to because you've shown us no evidence that you can. That's the issue. It's not that he's not a good coach or anything like that. It's that they've been spoiled, and there is a standard that has been established over the previous 17, 18 years, and he has not come close to that standard. Facts.
Stephen A., you're right. And, most of what I do every afternoon, as you know, is talk to fans from around the SEC, but also from Alabama. And they're very mixed on him. They are waiting very anxiously to see what happens in this Oklahoma game. And think about Oklahoma. About 5 weeks ago, Oklahoma was in Tuscaloosa beating this Alabama team. Last year in Norman, they beat Alabama. The idea of Alabama losing 3 games to Oklahoma in 13 months would not be very forgivable. And I don't think the Alabama fans, should they lose Friday night, would be terribly disappointed to see him go. He is a very good coach, but Alabama has had the 2 best coaches in college football history. Paul Bryant in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s, and obviously Saban for 17 years, where he only won 6 national championships, but he played for it 9 times, was in the playoffs 10 times. That's how good it was, Stephen A., as you well know. You were close friends with Nick Saban during that tenure. But DeBoer just doesn't seem to have that it factor, and that thing that answer that we played a minute ago, Courtney and Stephen A., showed exactly why. He just can't get to the point, and nor can he get to the point on the football field. Remember, this season began, Stephen A., losing to Florida State, one of the worst schools in the ACC this year, and then he dropped the game to Oklahoma. He lost by 21 to a team he had beaten. So is Friday night important? You better believe it's important.
All right, we got to leave it here,
right,
Paul.
it is.
Thank you. We appreciate you being with us. As a reminder, here are this week's college football playoff first-round matchups. Oklahoma hosting Alabama Friday night in Norman at 8 Eastern. And Saturday's triple header starts with Texas A&M hosting Miami and College Station at noon Eastern. Both of those games are on ABC, ESPN, and the ESPN app. Then TNT has Tulane, Ole Miss, and Oxford with James Madison, Oregon, capping the night off in Eugene. Coming up next, someone here thinks if Lamar Jackson gets in the playoffs, this could be the year he reaches the Super Bowl. You don't want to miss who that is. Coming up next, First Take.